Hey, I'm a Spanish learner. Could you please tell me a mystery story with very basic vocabulary and basic grammar? Also talk very slowly and make it in a whispery voice so that it's really mysterious.
Por supuesto. Aquí va. En un pequeño pueblo había una casa abandonada.
You don't have to whisper that much.
Entendido. Vamos de nuevo. En un pequeño pueblo había una casa abandonada.
Okay, I'm actually quite intermediate, so you can talk a lot faster than that.
Había una casa abandonada. Una noche se escuchó un ruido extraño. La puerta se abrió sola.
That was pretty cool, right? AI voice models are getting extremely convincing, and today I will show you 2 methods that use these kind of models that will improve your listening and speaking skills. There will also be a bonus technique at the end, which I am sure you've never heard about before, because it didn't exist yesterday. In my last video, I argued that the key to learning a language, or rather acquire a language, is not memorizing grammar rules or vocabulary tables. Instead, it's about getting lots of comprehensible input. Basically listening and understanding messages in your target language, in the language you want to learn. Think about how you learned your first language. When you were a baby, you didn't study grammar, you just listened a lot. For input to be optimal, it needs to pass 2 simple tests. First, it needs to be interesting. If you're bored about the content you're consuming, your brain will check out or you will not stay consistent with the method. And secondly, it needs to be at the right level. Too easy? Again, you get bored or don't learn much that is new to you. Too hard? You get overwhelmed. You stop understanding the messages and probably give up at some point. OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT, recently released the new advanced voice mode. It's not available everywhere yet, but you can just get a VPN and access it easily. Now, let me introduce you to the first powerful method. It's called crosstalk, and it's what I did in the intro of this video. Here's how it works, with or without AI. 2 people have a conversation, but each person speaks in their native language. So I speak German, or for demonstration purposes English, and my partner responds in Spanish, if that is their native language and also the language I want to learn. This may sound a little weird at first, but it's brilliant. Because you get tons of input in your target language. You can express yourself fully without struggling, and we know that a low anxiety situation is the best for acquiring languages. So speaking in your native language makes this environment much more relaxed. The conversation flows naturally because everyone's comfortable. ChatGPT's new voice mode is a true game changer here. Traditionally, you need to find a language partner who speaks the language you want to learn. And at the same time, they want to learn the language that you are speaking. You also need to coordinate time zones and schedule regular sessions. But now you can just open ChatGPT and start a crosstalk conversation anytime you want, like immediately. 3 AM and feeling chatty? No problem. Want to spontaneously practice for 20 minutes during your lunch break? Go for it. Plus, unlike a real language partner who might get tired or bored of you, let's be honest, you're pretty boring. I don't know. ChatGPT will happily adjust its speaking speed, repeat things you didn't catch, stick to topics you're interested in, and use vocabulary at your level. I'm obviously not saying you should never talk to a native speaker again. Quite the opposite, you should absolutely do that. I'm just saying that this new advanced voice mode of ChatGPT is another great tool you can put in your repertoire for getting more comprehensible input. Even the regular voice mode that existed beforehand, that doesn't sound as good and can't change its tone, has already been quite useful to me in the past. In May, I was in Barcelona. Every time I say that, I forget what I want to say next. Zaragoza, Madrid. Okay, yeah, what did I do there? What I did in my free time is walking around the city, visiting the different sites, while having ChatGPT in my earbuds the whole time. I was asking in English about the Basilica de la Sagrada Familia and got the information in Spanish. I then could do follow-up questions about the architect, other works and places, etc. It was a very natural conversation where I got my comprehensible input while exploring the city and while learning new stuff about the city. With the advanced voice mode, it's now even better because the voices sound so good and you can steer them towards a fitting talking speed and mood. The second method or technique I want to talk about is about talking. It's basically the same, just that you also talk in the language that you want to learn. Here again, a big advantage is that the AI won't judge you. Here's a quick demonstration and I will follow up with some more tips to improve this method.
Could you start us off with a conversation? Maybe ask us a few questions in Portuguese so we can practice?
Claro. Vamos começar. Para Christine, o que você gosta de fazer no seu tempo livre? E para Nacho, qual a sua comida brasileira favorita?
Okay, I'll try. Eu gosto de tocar piano.
Que legal, Christine. Tocar piano é uma habilidade incrível. E você, Nacho?
Eu gosto de jogar, how do you say chess?
Xadrez. Eu gosto de jogar xadrez.
Ok,
Bem interessante, Nacho.
eu gosto de jogar xadrez.
If you want, you can also ask the AI to correct you. I wouldn't really suggest that though, because I believe it's just better to have a natural conversation instead. Learning is most successful when it involves only a limited amount of stress, when students are relaxed and confident and enjoying their learning. But the use of correction encourages exactly the opposite condition. Correction was not only unhelpful in these studies, but also actually hindered the learning process. What you could try is priming the AI in a way that it only corrects you or only gives you advice when it notices that you do the same error over and over again. That way it might be able to stop you from developing bad habits, but doesn't disrupt the conversational flow unnecessarily. I must admit that this speaking method is not something I use regularly. I tried it out and thought it was very useful and very interesting. It's just that I am in Panama and tomorrow I'll go to Costa Rica. I also have a Peruvian girlfriend, so I get enough opportunities to talk in Spanish if I want to. If you want to go one step further, and this is the special technique I teased earlier, you can import your conversation into Langia, my language learning app based on comprehensible input. This is obviously completely optional, just like everything else, but can be a cool extension. Just go ahead and export your conversations from ChatGPT and upload them to Langia. This lets you easily create flashcards from your conversations, and you can save the words towards your progress. That way they get placed into new stories automatically, which is the advanced space repetition system that Langia uses. Always putting words into new contexts instead of you learning them in isolation. If you're interested, just check out the link in the video description. Now let's talk about a couple of downsides of this advanced voice mode. First of all, only ChatGPT Plus users get access. Meaning you need to pay $20 per month and you're also restricted to 1 hour of use per day. If you have the money, I would advise you to try it. I think $20 for up to 30 hours of great quality input is not a bad deal. If you can't afford it or are looking for free alternatives, I would advise you to check out the regular voice mode, which is free to use and also quite useful. It's just not as good, but it's not bad either. Another thing I noticed is that the AI doesn't know which accent it has, so don't trust its answer. I asked about it and the voice I selected told me it has a neutral accent. I'm not an expert on accents, but I heard a lot of pronunciations that are very Argentinian. Instead of something like yo estoy buscando una calle, I get something like yo estoy buscando una calle, which is, I butchered that completely probably, but that's what it sounded to me, and that is Spanish. That is just a more Argentinian accent and definitely not a neutral accent. So just keep that in mind. It's also not able to change its accent even if you ask it to do so. Try all the 9 different voices and pick the one you like most. Pretty easy. If you want to learn more about language learning, or rather language acquisition, please watch this video next. It lays the foundation for everything that will follow on this channel. And yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.